So I'm almost to my friend's home, Greg and Val. They were, Greg used to be on the road part-time, and he is the one that sold the old gray to Robert. And for a while, he and Val traveled in that after they got married, and then they bought a fifth wheel. So, and now they have bought a house and have gone back to being part-time. So I am excited to see them. It has been a while. So Val and Greg, thank you for doing this with me.
Oh,
you're welcome.
My pleasure.
So Greg, I knew you before Val because I met you when you were on the road driving what we now know as Old Gray.
Yep, Old Gray.
Do you remember what year that is? I don't. I think 2017?
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Sounds just about right.
So I want to fast forward, and I got to meet Val and be great friends with Val because you two ended up I would say not, you didn't meet and get married. You already knew each other. Will you tell my viewers that story? One of you?
Val, give them the condensed story.
In about 1998.
Okay.
And, well, I drove up to Montana in my camper, and I was going to be a campground host. And a friend of his introduced me to him, and he says, "I'll bring your camper out and park on my land."
I rented this house out in the country that had like acres and acres of property that were at your disposal, 160 acres actually. And but you know, around the house.
So I stayed in my camper a little bit.
Then she moved in the house. Yeah, you know, there was like two big bedrooms and a big old, crazy old ranch house.
Yeah.
It's actually a collection of old miner shacks that have been drug across country by Butte, Montana, that had been fastened together with the hammer and the wire that came out of their lunchbox from the company.
Yeah.
So that was what year?
1998.
And y'all got married in what year?
2019.
So fast forward, what is that? I can't even do that math. 98 to 2019.
We've been
A
married
long
a
time.
year and 6 months.
So Val, then I met you when Greg brought you to my meetup, right?
In Old Gray. We started out in Old Gray.
Yeah, that's right. The first time.
We were going to go camping.
Yeah.
And I told everybody
I didn't even know she was going to come along, and all of a sudden she calls me up from the blue and says, explaining some things that were going on. I said, "Well, you can always come up and visit for a little while if you want. You're going to get burned in there, buddy." Anyhow.
Anyway, he talked me into
Must have been a little piece of
going
meat.
camping. And so we camped in Old Gray, and it snowed so much that year that I couldn't go home. So we spent the whole
back
winter.
at home, back between where we were camping in the desert in Arizona and where she lived in Utah.
In Utah, too much snow. So how long were you guys in that van together?
I think it was about 3 months.
Oh no, it was longer than that. You picked me up about
my
birthday, didn't you?
No, we left in December.
Oh, December.
We left early December.
We didn't get back till April.
Because we were down to see them at the December meetup.
Okay. So about 6 months.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 or 6 months is longer than 3, and it bodes well, Greg. That it couldn't have been December to April.
I'm serious. Into March, she was. That would be 4 months.
Okay, so 3, 4, or 6 months. What was your favorite thing?
Seemed like forever. Outside of Bouse, when it would rain and the washes would just fill up and rush. I thought that was so cool.
Aww.
And then the next day, everything was green.
Yeah.
And that particular year, it got a lot of rain in that particular area, and the desert looked like a golf course.
It was
so
good.
There's green grass everywhere about that tall, and if you look down by your feet, you could see that the blades were 6 inches apart. But if you look out at the distance, they all look like a green golf course.
Oh, man.
And it was just
And it
nuts.
smelled good, too, didn't
yeah,
it?
and all the cactus were all plump, and everything was blooming.
Okay, so after the winter, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it was.
It was fun.
I know. I was going to say it bodes well that Greg thought it was only 3 months. That's actually a good thing. But you went back to Montana.
I went back to Utah. He went to Montana, and we talked on the phone and stuff, and we decided to move in together. And I didn't want to live in Montana, so he bought the truck, the stinky, noisy diesel truck, and I bought a nice fifth wheel. And
5.9 second gen Dodge diesel.
yes, it's a
She's
wonderful
referring to.
truck.
All right.
And then I went up to Montana when my lease finally ran out of my apartment, and he spent all summer long
Fixing the second gen 5.9 Dodge diesel that had everything and its brother wrong with it.
Boy, I know that feeling.
Oh boy.
$25,000 later, we
Yes.
have
Yeah.
I went in to get the transmission fluid changed, and it was $15,000 later when we got out of there.
Oh, man.
We ended up with a new transmission. The motor had a broken cylinder head, so we had to get a new cylinder head put on it and taken all the way apart and put back together again.
So, what did you like least about living in the van before you got the truck and the trailer?
that
The lack
he
of
would-
square feet.
He would get cranky because one of us would have to stand up to pass each other, and it's like, hey, I get upset.
Right, but it is a small
Somebody
space.
pass every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's it. So what did you like most about the trailer? Because you traveled in it about, what, a year?
15 months.
15 months.
we
Wow,
spent
over a
Yeah, we
year.
spent a good little while in the trailer, and that was awesome. We were out the whole time. We boondocked essentially the whole time.
Beautiful places.
We spent a week now and then in a Forest Service campground because I've got the half price pass, but they're always the ones without any hookups or anything, And we've got a couple that we enjoy.
Good.
And,
So what did you like the most? The traveling?
Oh, sunrises and sunsets.
The awesome solar power system. In the
Yeah.
trailer.
Being
We-
able
we-
to be remote boondocking.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Will, what's his last?
Prouse, I believe.
Mr. Will Prouse Jr. or something like that. Anyhow, you're the dude, man. Thank you. If you see this,
Yes, thank
we
you,
did your
Will.
400 watt classic RV system, and I'd never done any electric before. I put that thing together. We ran it for 15 months, and the sunshine made my coffee every morning.
And it's
There you
still
go.
working.
Thank you, sir.
And it still works.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Which-
still works great. I just put the battery back in after the winter.
Which leads me to my next question. What did you like least about the trailer?
The bathroom.
The height in and out.
Oh,
I
yes.
jacked it up a ways, and it's a fifth wheel to start with, and the axle was turned over, and then I had it put up another 1.5 inches, and
It about
it
destroyed
doesn't
my
seem like a
knees.
problem at the first week or two, but after a while, it gets to be a problem getting up and down the step.
Yeah.
That being said, it did allow us to go to places that most fifth wheels don't go.
Right, because you had it raised up and
Yeah,
you had the
It's a
clearance.
small fifth wheel with a reasonable sized pickup truck to pull it, 4-wheel drive, and high clearance on both vehicles. Good exit and entry and exit angles on both vehicles.
Okay, so you got married and you lived in the trailer, traveled in the trailer for 15 months, and you recently, just a few months ago, bought this wonderful big home.
Yep.
And are you done with the road?
Well,
No.
we'll be back on from time to time.
Yeah.
We're talking about going back to see my niece's wedding in Atlanta this fall. We may or may not make that. Then we might go up to Montana and do huckleberry picking. Camp Huckleberry is always good.
And maybe go back down to the desert in the winter once we're all
Yeah, when it
settled
gets
in
cold here in the winter.
And so people are going to get to see the canoes that you built, and they got to see the desk and the beautiful woodwork that was in old gray. And you're putting in concrete paving, and you're going to do
concrete right now. It's not near as delicate as the canoe was.
Yeah, and you're both nurses, and Val, you've gone back to work part-time.
Yes, very part-time. When I went in for the interview, I suggested I become a fill-in person.
There you go. There you go. And so I'm tickled to death. Thank you guys for letting me stay here. And
You're most welcome anytime, Debra.
well, thank you. And I'm just tickled to death to be able to call y'all friends.
Oh, yeah, it's been fun knowing you on the road. You helped me out in the beginning, showed me some of the areas down in the desert, and that was cool. And introduced me to a couple of people just by and by, and you know how that works. And it was a good deal. Good deal. So thank you. It's really fun.
Cherish you, Deborah.
Cherish you too. Love you guys.
Love you too.
See
Bye,
you all.
everybody. See ya down the road. Keep on keeping on.
Oh, that's right. We got to do the cocoa thing, don't we?
Yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Do we do
How
it?
could you forget about it? Keeping on, keeping on.
So what'd you think?
I liked it.
Val, you want to introduce your sister?
Oh, it's my sister Linda. It's her birthday this Thursday.
Oh, happy birthday!
72.
Yay! Well, you look 52, maybe.
Oh, I'm so glad. I didn't want to get old.
What are we having for dinner tonight, Greg?
We are having kebabs.
Kebabs?
Kebabs.
And you've been marinating them, I understand, today?
Yeah, just got a little basic teriyaki-like marinade. Not a full-fledged thing.
Okay, Greg, tell us about this canoe.
Okay, this is how I thought I was going to make some money once upon a time, and thought I'd make these wood strip canoes. I went back and apprenticed with a gentleman by the name of Phil Green in Rondo, South Carolina. Thank you, Phil. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Anyhow, it's a modern wood strip construction, and it started out as rough cut lumber. It's basically sawed into a whole bunch of pieces and then glued back together and fiberglassed on the outside. This is as far as I'm going to get into it. It's got Honduran mahogany, crotch teak, fieldback maple, and that's the kind of woods it's got in it.
It's beautiful.
Took me a year to build it.
Wow. Well, you do great.
That's working full-time on the boat, and more than full-time actually.
Yeah.
It's working about 6 days a week and 12-hour days.
Well, it is gorgeous. Thank you for showing us.
You're welcome.
So, Greg, what are you working on?
I'm working on your windshield washer reservoir bracket. And the bolts were put in incorrectly last time, and it's all flopped down here on the upper radiator hose.
Yeah, so let's show them what the damage it's doing.
And the problem is right down here. This is the upper radiator hose, and you can see where it's made this dent on there where this wire cage has been rubbing on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to install these bolts correctly.
Yeah, and someone just didn't want to take the grill off and put them up there.